All right, hello everybody. My name is Travis, and this is the Daily Travesty. And what I thought we would do today is do an Arena Cube draft. I've gotten to draft Cube a couple times already. I think I've done three. Two of them went pretty well. I think I went 5-3, 4-3 in two of them, and then in the other one I didn't go particularly well. I think I went 1-3 in that. Cube is its own kind of beast. Hey, let's open it up here. It's its own thing. I haven't done a ton of cube draft in my life ever, really, but I've been enjoying this one so far. And basically, how it's different than your sort of standard drafts that you're going to be doing on Arena, the limited events, is that the cards are super powerful. Basically, they design a cube, which is a set of cards that are meant to be drafted together, draft well together, have different strategies in that. But what you might be able to appreciate as we're kind of flipping through this list is that these are the most powerful cards, or at least some of them, from the recent formats. There aren't a ton of duds, if any at all. Every single card is powerful in its own right and has a purpose. And Cube Draft, for that reason, is very different than regular Limited, where you open up a pack of cards, and you're going to see this when we open up our first pack, and it is really hard to determine what to do because every single card is good. There usually isn't a clear first pick, and that makes it kind of tough. But that also allows us to practice some of our good drafting habits, like taking a card that keeps you open, trying to stay open, find cards that work well together, cards that are good in lots of different game situations. And yeah, we're gonna jump into a draft here. In the past, I have gone through cards and looked at signals and stuff, but because of what I just said, that every card in the set is good. It's nice that you get to see every card here. And if you're planning on doing some cube, maybe you want to take a look through this. I did that before my first cube. I came in and I think I made it halfway through white or maybe halfway through blue before I was like, okay, there's just too much to look at. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to draft. We're going to see what happens. We're going to have some fun. So if you go to Cube Draft, maybe you want to look through here, take a look at what cards are available and what synergies might be there. I know that there's a red-black sacrifice deck. Basically, every two color combination has stuff. Red-green is usually play some big creatures with good removal. Yeah, I mean, blue-green ramp, black-blue, yeah, good stuff. It's just, yeah, there's going to be more information about this cube coming up. Like I said, I've only played a couple times so far, so we're just going to dive into a cube draft, and I'll try and navigate it the best I can and try to explain why I'm taking what I'm taking. I'm not saying that this is going to be the most optimal draft you've ever seen in your lives, but cube has been really fun. It's really high power, and I hope that you enjoy this video, and I hope you come hang out. I hope people in the chat comment and give suggestions and let me know when you might have done something different and I do something ridiculous that looks silly so that I can learn too. And we're going to jump in here. Like I said, every card is good. Every card is powerful. It has a home. So our first pick is going to be based mainly on trying to stay open, picking a single colored card that's really powerful. The other thing about Cube is that because all the cards are good, taking lands is sometimes worthwhile because you do a ton of splashing, or you can do a ton of splashing. You don't have to. One thing I noticed about this cube is that it's actually geared towards monocolored decks as well, like mono black or mono white. I'm not going to start with an expensive planeswalker here. Unbreakable Formation, that's something I'm looking at. Champion Wits would be good. 3 mana, 2/1. Draw 2 cards, discard 2 cards, and then you can eternalize it. That's kind of nice. So it comes back from the graveyard. That's a good value card. Ranger of Eos, if I already had a couple good 1-drops in my deck, I might consider this. I don't think you can go wrong taking removal, but there's just so much better stuff than a simple removal spell. Although Doomblade is excellent. It's going to kill a lot of the opponent's really good cards. Lorehold Command, This is a great card in Strixhaven. I'm just going to hover it for now because it does so much. And in Cube, that's really important. And it might be splashable as well. It might be splashing there. Risk the Redeemed can create elves really slowly and double your tokens. So maybe there's a green-white token deck, but I'm not going to take that early. Censor has been annoying, so just watch out for that. 2-mana counterspell that can be cycled later is really good. The modal double face land spells are really good as well. They make your deck run a lot smoother. Here's a payoff for having a really big black and white token deck. If all your creatures die, you deal damage. But anyway, we're just going to start with a powerful, versatile card. And so History of Benalia is really good. 3 mana, create 2/2/2s, and then pump all your team. Really nice if you have a whole bunch of knights in your deck. Not sure if we're going to take it here. We have a powerful God card here. This wasn't one of the better cards, so it's just hard to kill, but it's just a really big dumb creature. Rashmi is really good. When you cast your first spell every turn, you basically just draw cards and get free spells. That's a card I would definitely look at taking. Jace is a nice win condition. You can just draw extra cards, and then if you get down to the bottom of your deck, you can win that way. There is a mill deck and a self-mill deck, so that's nice. Murderous Rider is a really nice efficient card. Remove a spell plus creature. So Murderous Rider, Benalia, Rashmi I'm looking at. Torbran is fine in mono red. Yeah, there's just a ton of stuff going on here. I think I want to take one of these cards, and I want to take a single colored card. Oh, this card is really amazing. Maybe I'll just take History of Benalia because I started with a white card. Again, I think Rashmi is probably the best card there, but there's just so much going on in these. It's sometimes hard to know what to do. Looking for these Triomes is really good. 3-color lands in Cube are awesome because it lets you splash. This doesn't touch any of our colors, so I'm not going to take it here. And I don't think it's worth taking a dual color land here, although Sacred Foundry might help us splash Lorehold Command if we're mono white. Clarion Spirit's really nice if you're casting a lot of spells, but I think it's kind of slow unless you build your deck around it. Basri's Lieutenant is fine as a white card. It's a knight, so it goes with our History of Benalia, and it's kind of difficult to deal with. And if you get some counter sub themes, you can make a bunch of tokens. Yeah, Falmire Knight is fine as well. Terramorphic Expanse for splashing is really good too. I think white is sort of a go wide, make a bunch of creatures deck, so I might just take this white card. I am kind of trying to signal to the other players at the table that white's being cut, but there's already white cards in here, and maybe it's right to take a land there. I'm not really sure. I'm not super experienced with Cube. Well, there are quite a few sweepers in Cube. This being one of them, Doomscar. Doesn't really go well if we're the creaturey deck, but it's something worth thinking about. Something like Thrashing Brontodon's really nice because it's a good sized bodied creature, and if your opponent has some insane artifact or enchantment, you can kill it, so that's really good. Remember, all these cards are good. Ashiok's a win condition. You just mill your opponent for 20 cards, which is good and limited. This is a very aggressive 1-mana 2/2, and if we were gonna be in a white creaturey deck, that would be okay. I think I'm just going to take Doomscar. I think this is the most powerful card, and if we end up in a more controlling version of white, it's nice to be able to have a sweeper. Again, kind of signaling that white isn't open, and it's a bit of a signal that white is open from our other side, so I'm just going to keep taking white cards for now. I would rather have this in an aggressive deck, and I don't know if my deck's going to be aggressive yet, so I'll just take the more powerful card. Again, Cube is insane. Like, it's really tough to navigate. Cruel Reality can be a win condition, but it's expensive. Giant Killer is a nice versatile card. I don't know if I'll take it, but you can just have a tapper, or you can destroy something big and then have a tapper creature, so that's kind of nice in white. Languish, another sweeper. We already have the Doomscar, but if we were in black, that's a nice one to have. Soulscar Mage is a good aggressive card for a red-white deck with prowess, but you need a lot of spells to make that work. Problemite is just great removal. Scales with the game. Scorching Dragonfire is a nice removal spell as well in red. Blast Zone can be really good in cube, especially if your opponent makes or has a bunch of cards in play. You have to be careful with this kind of thing. I don't know if the historic theme is that good, artifacts, legendaries, and sagas, but this is a really powerful card if you can pull that together. Again, I'm just going to take the white card. I think the best card might be Dragonfire, Languish, I don't know, but I'm just going to keep taking white cards. Like I said, mono white is a archetype in this format, which is kind of surprising because usually in cube you're splashing a whole bunch from what I've seen. That is an aggressive card. They lose life for every tap creature you have. I'm just going to take the white 1-drop here. It does look like maybe we're going to be in a mono white aggressive deck. Maybe. And this can make extra 1/1s. This card is nice too to get back big stuff. A Braid is a really powerful card. Swift response. I'm going to miss this 1-drop. I don't know if I'm in a controlling deck or an aggressive deck, so I'm going to take a Braid. Just a really good removal spell. Can destroy an artifact as well. So that's actually, I think, better than Usher. In a mono white super aggressive deck, I would rather have the Usher, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be that aggressive, especially if I already have Doomscar. And I'm kind of just zoning in. Like I said, every card is good, but I'm seeing some white and red cards come around. Thundering Rebuke, 2 mana, deal 4 to something, including Planeswalkers. I think that's just going to be good. There are going to be a lot of Planeswalkers in cube, because there's a bunch in the cube. Unlike normal limited, where you don't see them that often, in this cube formats, you see them a lot. So I'm going to take the Rebuke over Inspector, which is fine. I mean, I don't mind this card. Having the chance to draw a card later is nice. If you have, yeah, I mean, I think this is fine in a green deck as well. If we were green-white, maybe that would have been nice, but I think right now it's looking like red is maybe a little bit open. Here we see a Siege Gang Commander, 5 mana, make a bunch of 1/1s, and you can sacrifice goblins to deal damage. That's kind of nice. This is good in an aggressive deck, and it's also good in a more controlling deck. It just puts a lot of bodies into play. You can jump block with the tokens and then sack them to deal damage. Nightmare Shepherd is really good. It makes all your other creatures better, and it's a 4/4 flying for 4. I don't know if we've seen a ton of black. Like I said, I'm kind of tunnel visioned into white-red right now. I think this card is really good. Draw a couple cards. Blood Chief's Thirst, obviously good. There is some thought to taking the land there too in case we end up in black, but okay, so no red or white cards here. I think for that reason, are we just supposed to take Cruel Celebrant in case we're a white-black deck? I think Champion of Wits is the best card, but I don't know if we're blue-red ever. Splashing white? We could just take this. Counterspell that cycles. Yeah, I'll just take... Well, this is the most unique card. And we did see a bit of black, so if we end up in white-black, this is going to have a nice effect for us. Cruel Celebrant goes well with something like Reassembling Skeleton, that you can keep sacrificing it and bring it back. This is a nice double-colored card if we want to play our red or white cards, and if we want to be able to splash them. I think this card is fine. 5 mana, 5/6 Menace, obviously great. Keeps coming back. You can draw cards off of it. But it's just a powerful 5-drop, and I think I'll just take the land here so that I know I can play my spells. Same thing here. I'm going to take the red-white dual land, and that opens me up to maybe splashing. I'm probably not splashing any white cards except Lorehold Command, but if we end up being black-white, we could splash these like a Braid, Thundering Rebuke. So I'm going to take the Sacred Foundry here. Terramorphic Expanse would also be good, but I already have red and white cards, so... Well, Thrashing Brontodon is good. Does this do anything? It's just an aggressive red card. And if we end up in an aggressive red-white deck, that could be okay. Could also take the land to splash. Maybe it's better to take the land here. Or Brontodon, which is quite good. Not really sure. Okay, well, here's another aggressive red card. If you play spells with it, you can pump it up. And you can slowly beat down on the opponent's creatures. There's also these black cards, but we've been seeing a ton of red. Get to Lava Runner, also an aggressive red card that incentivizes you to have instants and sorceries. So things like Crash Through. And a Sheltered Thicket. I like these cards. Like, even if we're not playing green, you can play this as a mountain that cycles, and that can be okay. Maybe not in an aggressive deck, but... Okay, see here, like, Benalish Marshal pays you off for being in mono white. I think we saw mostly red cards that last pack, so I'm going to be looking more to be red. Here's a nice double face card that can just save you if you top deck it and have 8 mana, but otherwise it's a land. Mikaeus is a nice one if you have a whole bunch of creatures in play, which we will plan to do. Alseid of Life's Bounty is a nice 1-drop. The Ashnode Pyromancer is a nice aggressive 2-mana card. I don't think I really want to first pick it out of this pack. I think I'll probably just take this Mikaeus. Like, it kind of scales with the game. You can play it on turn 3. I guess turn 2 and start putting counters on it. So that's kind of nice. I wouldn't mind this Alseid. I wouldn't mind this Pyromancer. Benalish Marshal being triple white is a little bit hard to cast, and we don't even know if we're that white, so I'm not going to take it. And it's probably not a card that goes in my deck because I have so many red cards, but maybe this Pyromancer is just the better pick, and we could be mono red. Oh man, this card is so annoying. People have been playing this. People have been playing this in 3-color decks. It's just so hard to deal with. Not something we're going to take here, but that card is just absurd. Really hard to attack into. All right, well, I like Spellbinder. I like Swords to Plowshares. I like Lightning Helix, and I like Royal Eruption. So it looks like we have a pick of removal spells, or Remorseful Cleric, 2-mana 2/1 flying that can get rid of your opponent's graveyard synergies is nice. I like these removal spells, but we already have a couple. So I'm not looking at a removable spell here, except maybe Swords to Plowshares because it kills absolutely anything. But I think I want to start upping my creature count. And Remorseful Cleric is just a nice 2-mana aggressive creature. It can start attacking right away. And then if your opponent drafts a really good Graveyard Synergies deck, you can just get rid of their graveyard, which is nice. So I'm going to take the most aggressive card, but there is so much good stuff in here. I'm hoping we get something back. I don't think this card is particularly good for a fast deck. Basically, you can draw cards off of it and eventually build constructs with it. Probably better in an artifact deck. Okay, Banneret is a really nice aggressive card. It comes down, it can attack as a 3/1, and it puts counters on your other attacking creatures. So that's perfect for an aggressive deck. And we might end up being in mono red. Who knows? I'm going to take the Cruel Celebrant out. For now, I'm going to take the Banneret. And I don't think I'm playing... Well, I'm probably not playing this Sheltered Thicket. I'm going to keep it here for now just to remind myself in case I see a really good green card. I mean, there are some other red-green duels, but Weaponize the Monsters is also something to think about if we had a ton of ways to make tokens, token creatures, but I don't think we have that right now. So we're not casting a creature spell with power 4, 5, or 6 that often. This I don't really want. Birth of Melodius is a nice control card, but we want to be aggressive. An Axe is really aggressive. Goes in the red deck wins decks, so we'll probably just take that. It's a nice 3-drop to fill out our 3-drop curve. I don't know if we're playing white. We're probably not playing Doomscar in this creature deck. Who knows? Something like Spikefield Hazard is just, again, can ping off an X1 or be a land. Evolving Wilds would be fine as well if we ended up splashing. Field of Ruin can be kind of annoying for your opponents, but they get a basic off of it anyway, so... I realize I'm talking very quickly, but there's just so much going on. I'm just going to take the good creature here. We're going to try and be a low-to-the-ground creature deck and kill all the opponents that are just trying to be way too slow. Castle Ardenvale is nice to create 1/1s. It's a bit slow for our deck. I would consider taking it. Things like Kazul's Fury, again, nice. Sometimes you just draw this late in the game and can deal damage to your opponent. Venerable Warsinger is a really nice 3-mana card, and we do have enough cheap creatures in our deck that we should be able to get something back into play a lot of the time. So I like Ardenvale, I like this, I like Kazul's Fury. I think for this deck, I'll just take the aggressive 3-drop. We don't have that many right now. especially if we don't end up playing history. Double white and double red is a bit awkward for our deck, even though I guess we do have 2 lands that can be either color. So, and again, I'm kind of just going into tunnel vision on colors right now. There's just too much to do. So this is a really nice removal spell. 5 damage to a creature for 3 mana, and then if you ever do get to 9 mana, you can kill a bunch of stuff. We're not getting to 9 mana in this deck, and we already have a bit of removal. Felidar Retreat is really nice. Just make a whole bunch of token creatures and then put counters on them. But I think I'm just going to take Leyline Tyrant. This card is threatening right away, and if you untap with it and your opponent kills it, you can deal some damage to something. Felidar Retreat is super good and super threatening, but it takes a while for this to start having an effect, whereas a 4-mana 4/4 flying is just going to be good right away. Oh, this is great. Okay. Oh, man. Red is very open. So Rampaging Ferocidon, awesome card, 3/3 menace. Your opponent can't gain life, so that really hurts controlling decks that try to stabilize. And whenever someone plays a creature, deals a damage to them, that includes us. But we're hoping to have such a fast start that we'll have a way higher life total than our opponent by turn 3. And then when this thing starts hitting things, it's going to be great. Skewer the Critics, also nice, 3 damage to something, and sometimes you can play it for cheaper, but I'm just going to take the good creature here. Maybe just a Fabled Passage. Caravan, not really. I think this card is good, but only in red-green, really. This is a really nice black card, but we're not in black, so I'll just take the land. This can get us red or white, and we do have some, like, tough mana costs, like double red, double white, double red, red and white, double red here. So I'm just going to take the Fabled Passage. It helps fix our mana. I don't think we're splashing in this deck. I don't think we're getting to 8 mana that much. In most white decks, I would take this over anything else in this pack, but I think our deck is so aggressive. I'm going to take the 2-drop. Deals 2 damage to them right away, which can sometimes just kill them. And if not, it attacks for 2 every turn. Bounty is really nice, but it's better if you have really good creatures to protect. And our stuff is all kind of junky that we don't need it. Seasoned Hallowblade is a really good attacker. Just start swinging in and dealing damage to them, indestructible. I also like Royal Eruption, and on 7 mana, you can deal 5 damage to something. But I just want the creature count high right now. So I'm going to take a really nice 2-drop over this really good removal spell, just to try and keep my creature count high. Nothing for us in this pack. Like, literally nothing. So I'll just take a land and maybe screw someone out of a thing. Here, we're going to take the Spikefield Hazard. I mean, 1 damage to any target. Sometimes with these fast decks, you get your opponent down to 1 life and they stabilize. I think that's better for us than an off-color land. So we'll take this. I don't know if you always play these in aggressive decks, but we'll see. We don't really care about any of these. Waking the Trolls is cool. I mean, we're not going to splash this, even though we technically could, but I'll just take it just in case. We're not playing any of these. Okay, Pillar of Flame, 2 damage to any target. It's kind of like a shock, but it exiles the creature, so that's actually really nice for us to pick up. This is a better controlling card. It doesn't attack super well for 4 mana. Lifelink, whatever. Settle the Wreckage is nice, but again, you want to be defensive if you have this card, and we're not. We're going to be aggressive. It exiles all your opponent's attacking creatures. This card's sweet. Lannery Storm, this is a nice aggressive card. 3 mana, attacks right away, and you can make treasure tokens to build up to like your other stuff. We're not playing Doomskar in this deck. Obosh is really nice on 5. It's just a 5 mana 6/5, and it makes all your 3-drops and 1-drops deal more damage. Seal Away is good. Again, it's better if you're defensive and we're an aggressive deck. I think I'll just take the 3-drop here. I wouldn't actually mind having this at the top of my curve. It just makes all of your 1 and 3-drops attack for so much more damage. But we're going to take the cheaper card first and see if we can wheel that one. Ooh, Banefire. Lightning Strike, Lightning Axe, Grim Lavamancer, and Basri Ket. So this is a good pack for us. I don't think you pass Banefire that often. 3 mana deal 2, sure, whatever, but at the end of the game, you can just hit your opponent for 1 million. Is that better than Lightning Strike? We already have a Braid, which only does creatures. Rebuke only does creatures. Pillar of Flame. Is Lightning Strike better in our deck because we aren't going to get to Banefire that often? I think this card is decent, but... oh man, is this card just way better? Put a counter on one creature, it gets indestructible, make a bunch of 1/1s. Lavamancer is also nice for reach. It's kind of slow. Mentor the Meek. I don't think you can go wrong with Banefire, but I'm kind of sad to pass a bunch of these good cards. I think this is just the most assertive card. Here, this is a red-white dual land. That's kind of slow. This is nice, but the total power of creatures we control, if this costs 8, I don't think it's worth it. Ancestral Blade could be okay. It puts a creature into play and gives us an equipment so that all of our creatures attack a little bit better. That is kind of nice. I don't think we want to play too many tap lands in our deck, even though this does cycle, which is really nice. Maybe I just take the 2-drop. It comes down as a 2-mana 2/2, and then you have the Ancestral Blade forever. That's kind of nice. Miria's Call, something we could play. I don't think we're getting to 7 that often. Sky Sovereign Console Flagship is really good. I don't know how many creatures we have with 3 power to crew it, and it's kind of expensive, but that card does do really well. Magma Quake is nice not in our deck. We don't want to kill all our creatures. Wow, there's so many good cards in this set. God's Willing would be okay. I think we'll probably just take Conclave Tribunal. It's a way to kill really big things, and we can convoke it and play it early off some of our cheap creatures. So if our creatures aren't able to attack and we're stuck on mana, we can still get rid of their big threats. But I think God's Willing would be fine. This would be fine. I don't think I'm playing Bone Splitter, especially now that I already have this Ancestral Blade. Ooh, wow. Legion's Landing is probably one of the best cards we could have seen. You make a 1/1 right away, and then you can just start popping out 1/1s once it becomes a land. This card would be fine. I don't think we need Valorous Stance. Lurrus is also really good. We have such a low curve. I would play this card in this deck. It's not that aggressive, but it helps you recur your old creatures. But I think just having this Legion's Landing is going to be so good. Oh, this card is actually really good too. Man, I would love to wield this. I don't think it's coming around, but this just kills like anything or makes a giant thing. This is a little bit expensive for our deck, although this card is great and we would definitely play it. This card is super aggressive, 2-drop. I think there's not going to be much we want to take over that. And later in the game, we can make dragons with it. That's super sweet. Stonecoil Serpent. Ooh, this is always good at any point during the game. Demon Bolt is fine as well. Oh man, there's just so many good cards in Cube. It's like you can see, it's so hard. It's so hard to make decisions in Cube. Well, I mean, Cleaver's gonna cleave, right? Do we even play white? If we play Embercleave, do we even play a white? Do we just splash white for like Tribunal, Command? Man. Well, we might just be in mono red, folks. I mean, we're not taking Embercleave here. Lava Coil, sure. Here's that Obosh. Again, Seal Away and Settle the Wreckage both here, but these are both defensive cards, and our deck is not defensive, especially not now with Embercleave in the deck. So I think we just take this. This is 6/5. I don't even know if we play this card. It's kind of expensive, but who knows? 5 damage to target creature. Lavamancer. If we're going mono red, maybe I just want this creature, and it can just start dealing 2 damage to things. I don't know if it's a great aggressive card, but we are going to be playing spells. Our creature's going to be dying. We already have a bunch of removal for creatures. Oh, there was a Crawling Barrens. Oops. So there was a Crawling Barrens in that last pack that I should have taken, but I didn't even see it. It's a land that becomes a creature and gets bigger every turn. I don't think we're playing Volcanic Salvo, but I'll just take it. Yeah, that was a mistake. I should have taken the Crawling Barrens last pack. I didn't even see it because I'm like so tunnel visioned into red now. I don't think we're going to play white, but... Oh, nice. Intervention came back. Okay, I think we just play mono red. White didn't end up actually being that open, which is kind of interesting to me. But red was certainly open. Now we can take a breath. After that whirlwind of a draft. Man, I wish I took that Crawling Barrens. That's okay. We're going to be all right. Giant Killer doesn't look great. I like Legion's Landing, but let's just start by taking out all the white cards from this deck and see if we have enough cards for a deck. If not, we'll probably splash white. So, okay, well, this is 21. That's good to know. This isn't really a card, so that's kind of just a land we'll play. So this is 20 cards. Is there anything really bad in the deck? Obosh is good. I think it's a little bit expensive. It works well with like Siege Gain Commander. It's kind of okay with Ferocidon, but if we're playing all the creatures, that means we take 2 damage a turn. But this thing deals 6 damage with Menace. That's pretty good. Doesn't do anything for these cards. It makes this deal 4 damage. This deals 4 damage. This deals potentially more if we make it an odd casting cost. Same with this. So I think Obosh is actually going to be really good in this deck. These are all good. These are all good. These are good. I don't know if Magda's that good, but we do have a dragon in our deck. That's kind of interesting. I don't think you get to 5 treasures that often, but between Magda and Captain Lannery Storm, like, how often are we getting 5 treasures to go find our Tyrant? That's pretty good. I mean, Tyrant isn't really the dragon you want to search for because you can just cast it for 4. Like, you want to go find like an 8 or 9 drop. But anyway, that's kind of neat. Other dwarves we control get +1/+0. We only have the 1, so this is basically just a 2-mana 2/1 that gets us a treasure token sometimes. I don't know if that's that good. I'll take it out for now, and we'll just see how we do on creatures. Dragonkin, Berserker, nice. So we have a Braid, Lava Coil, Thundering Rebuke. Yeah, we have a good amount of removal. This is a removal spell, unless you're about to win and then you make a Trampling X1. Probably... And it deals twice. Like, you pay 2 mana for this, it deals 2 damage. You pay 3 mana for this, it deals 4 damage. Like, that's pretty good. So I'm going to move it up here. I'm probably paying at least X = 2 a lot of the time with this. Banefire, this just wins the game. I want to spend as much mana as I can on that. This is going to be a 1-drop to try and make Embercleave better. I don't know if Lava Runner's that good, except it is nice to have 1-drops for Embercleave. And we only have 6 instants and sorceries. So this is a 1/2 a lot of the time. Is this deck even good? We've got 12 creatures. I think we kind of need the white cards, honestly. Like, if we had a ton of good 2-drops in red, that'd be different. What does this deck look like if we just sort out the creatures? Like, because we want to be an aggressive creature-y deck here. So 2, 3, 4 1-drops, 5, 6 2-drops. Yeah, that's kind of not enough to be a good aggro deck. Our 3s are really nice, and our top end is nice, but I don't think we're actually the, like, play a million creatures by turn 3 kill you deck, especially without good 2-drops. I think we're going to be more of a mid-range deck, and that makes me think that adding some of the powerful white cards in is going to be good. If we had like we have 6 1 and 2 drop creatures. If we had 8 or 9, that would probably be enough. But we're definitely playing Embercleave. We're just not going to be that like crazy curve out deck, which makes me think Lava Runner's bad. You need 2 instants and sorceries in your graveyard. all of our instants and sorceries are going to the graveyard. Like, they're all removal spells, but even if you have a 2/2 later in the game, like, I don't think this card's that good. So I think we're going to be a little bit slower. I don't mind keeping Soulscar Mage. It makes all of our removal spells deal wither damage, so we can shrink something that's particularly large. Like if they have a 5/5, we can make it a 1/1. So now I think we start to add in the best cards we have. This card isn't particularly good in our deck. This card's not good in our deck. So I'm glad we cut those. And now we can add in some of our powerful other cards. Like Lorehold Command can go in. Probably just better 2-drops is like what we're looking for to round out our deck. Conclave Tribunal is a nice removal spell to have. Mikaeus is good at any point in the game, even if you don't get to use the counters. Like 5 mana 4/4, 6 mana 5/5 is fine. And then if you ever get to bump your team, that's kind of nice. So I think that's a nice card to have. We probably want to play this a little higher in the curve, though. I'm just going through what the best cards are. This is going in our deck for sure. Legion's Landing. You can just make a bunch of 1/1s. That's awesome. I think Remorseful Cleric is still good enough based on what we said before. Unless we're just splashing white. Like, how many white cards are we actually going to have? At this point, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 white cards. That's probably still worth it. I don't think I want double white for history, although this card is really good. We're not going to end up with a bunch of knights in our deck. Unless we cut some of the worse red cards for better white cards. Huh. Okay, well, what are the best white cards we would want in this deck? We would want Remorseful Cleric. We would want Legion's Landing. We would want Seasoned Hollowblade. We would want History if we could get it. I suppose we do want this 4/4. This is the only thing giving counters to stuff though, right? Yeah, it's the only thing that gives counters. Oh, except Mikaeus. Okay, yeah, I mean, this is a good enough 4-drop. I don't think any of these cards are super exciting. Warsinger is good. I think this card is worth doing. Warsinger with Obosh. Return a 5-mana card to play. Yeah, that's pretty good. I don't really care about this. I don't really care about Giant Killer. It's kind of slow. Again, Ancestral Blade would be good, but I don't think it's better than Pyromancer, Berserker, Hollowblade, or Remorseful Cleric. Maybe it's better than Soulscar Mage. Ancestral Blade. This we want to play a little bit higher up. This is a powerful deck. We are going to play 17 lands here, but we're going to incorporate the spell lands. So I have 4 things to get rid of, and I think having the white cards makes the deck better. I think History of Benalia is super good, but it's a bit risky to put it in because it's double white, and we're not going to have that many white sources. Like, we probably want to play 10, at least 10 mountains, which leaves us with 7 white sources, and that's... Yeah, I guess we have the dual lands. Like, this card is very good. Even if you can't attack right away, you just play 2 tokens, and then on the 3rd turn, attack with 4 3s. So, kind of tough to say. I think Soulscar Mage is one of the weakest cards. Banneret isn't great if you're not super aggressive, but this card is good. Like, you put 1 counter on something and it's worthwhile. So I think maybe Soulscar Mage comes out. And we need 3 more cuts, and we have 15 creatures, so I don't really want to cut any more creatures from this deck. Which means we need to take out cards from down here. Berkeley is just so good. We can't get rid of that. I like these 3 mana removal spells. Those are super good. Pillar of Flame is going to be good. This is kind of like a creature. Kind of. Not really, but it kind of is. Yeah, man, this is powerful. Like, look at this. Look at the cards in this deck. Any one of these cards, well, not all of them, but most of these cards would be like first pickable cards in their own formats. Are we missing anything? Ancestral Blade instead of Pyromancer is an idea. Just because it helps beef up all our other creatures. And it makes a 2/2 instead of a 2/1. And if we're not being super, super aggressive, maybe the extra 2 damage this deals doesn't matter that much. Although it can hit Planeswalkers right away, which is kind of nice. Does the equipment really matter? Probably not that much. I'd rather have the equipment in a slower deck, though. It can help us be a little bit more defensive. Ooh. Equipment on Remorseful Cleric is pretty good. Equipment on Dragonkin Berserker is pretty good. Yeah, I mean, Ancestral Blade is probably enough better than Pyromancer in a slightly slower deck. I still don't think Giant Killer is going to be that good. So what do we need to take out? I don't really want to cut creatures. Maybe Basri's Lieutenant isn't that good. It comes down as a 4/5 Vigilance. That when it dies, it makes it 2/2. Yeah, that's just so good, right? Yeah, I like all the creatures we have, and we're at 15-ish creatures right now. 16, okay. So what are our worst spells from down here? I think we keep the Banefire. I think we have to keep Embercleave. It's just so good. Lorehold Command's really good. Do we get rid of Tribunal? Is that ridiculous? This gets rid of any non-land permanent, including Planeswalkers, but we already have one. Yeah, I guess we only have one way to deal with Planeswalkers, Thundering Rebuke. And this can get rid of like an enchantment or something. I guess a Braid also does that, or gets rid of an artifact. History is like a creature too, so we actually have quite a few creatures in the deck. If we want to get rid of some junkier creatures. Maybe Lavamancer's just not that good. I think this card is good. Can pump up a different attacking creature that has power 2. Huh, well I guess it doesn't pump Hollow Blade. It can pump Storm. Yeah, I mean maybe Goblin Banneret is just bad in this deck. 13, 14, 15, 16 creatures. Seems ridiculous, but maybe we are getting rid of this because it doesn't it pumps Cleric, it doesn't pump Hollow Blade, it pumps Berserker, and we don't really have that many low drops now. Well, if we get rid of Banneret, I said we weren't getting rid of creatures, and now we're just getting rid of all our creatures. But this is probably still worth it. If we don't have a ton of small creatures, is Legion's Landing worth it? I mean, we are an attacking. I think this card is just too good, right? Like a bunch of 1/1 lifelinkers. Maybe Pillar of Flame is just bad. We have better removal. Yeah. Okay. Maybe that's the case. I don't know if that's optimal or not, but I want to maximize high impact cards. And this doesn't pump that much on our team, and then it dies right away. Lavamancer's really good. It's a bit slow. I could see wanting that instead of maybe Legion's Landing. But this just makes a ton of 1/1s, which is really nice as well. So kind of tough to say there. I think Pillar of Flame was our worst removal spell. Maybe Legion's Landing should come out for Lavamancer with a lower creature count. Like, we're kind of, now at this point, we're kind of attacking with like one good creature, not three a lot of the time. Is our deck going to be slower? Exile 2 cards from your graveyard? I don't know. It's kind of tough to say. I'm going to start with Legion's Landing, but I could see switching that out for Lavamancer. Yeah, this looks good. We have dual land, Fabled Passage, dual land. I'm not going to play this cycling land just because it's going to be a bit slow. And I do want to play the spell lands, Sajiri, Shelter, and Spikefield Hazard, which are both tap lands as well. So, and I'm going to consider those lands. Sometimes you consider these spells if they're really good spells for your deck, but for our deck, I think they're just kind of nice to haves. And our deck, yeah, it got a little bit closer towards red. I think we still want mostly red mana, but we want kind of an even mix. So that's both, that's both, that's both. 1 and 1. So I want to have slightly more mountains than plains, but not too big of a difference. Because that's both, that's both, that's both, and we have one of each, so. With this, how many white sources? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 white sources, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 red. And we do want double red more often. Yeah, I think that's better. Although having Legion's Landing makes me wonder if we should have more plains. Okay, well, we'll go an even amount of mountains and plains. If we end up switching Legion's Landing out for the Grim Lavamancer, then we'll probably take out a plains and put in a mountain. But anyway, this is our cube deck. I have no idea if this is gonna go well. Like, we thought we might be mono red there, but our white cards are really good, even though white wasn't really that open. So that is the power of cube. You end up with crazy decks, and it's not clear if you're just going to get ran over by someone else's crazy deck or not. But let's see how we can do here. Yeah, if you are looking to do cube, I do recommend you look through the pool of cards first and just see what's available, but it's so hard to navigate. Every card is good. You don't have time to read everything, as you saw in the draft earlier, so I think you just make good decisions. Try and take cards that leave you open to a couple archetypes. Don't undervalue the lands. This is going to be okay. Don't undervalue the lands, and then once you kind of know your archetype or colors, you kind of have to get a little bit tunnel visioned because there's just way too much to read. So I wonder if we play this as a 1/1. Probably not against a red deck. It's too bad we don't have our second red. Maybe we should have an extra mountain in our deck. I don't think I play this as a 1/1 against them. Like, I would rather, even next turn, I could play it as a 2/2, and that's just infinitely better, right? Ooh, aggressive red deck. Well, this can't boast right away, so I don't need to kill it right away. So maybe I'll just play this as a 2/2. And then they can kill it with their removal spell, and if they don't, it becomes a 3/3 and then just gets big over time. I do need to draw another mountain here. A couple lands would be nice for Lorehold Command. I'll be more worried about this if they get to 5 mana. Ooh, Bonecrusher Giant. Nice card. Well, here's 4, and not the color we wanted, so we'll just take this opportunity to kill the 2/2. I don't really want them making 5/5s, so... And we can, I guess we could kill the Bonecrusher Giant with Banefire if we really had to. Or a Lava Coil, maybe. I'm really hoping to draw land and then leverage Lorehold Command to gain us some life, kill their next thing. Ooh, Phoenix of Ash. Oh, man. And we use the Lava Coil already. Light up the stage. Nice. Well, opponent's deck is definitely good. So Legion's Landing here, not looking as good as the Lavamancer. Like, if we draw Legion's Landing here, we're just, like, we don't even have that many creatures, which is kind of what I was worried about. So I think I'll probably switch the Legion's Landing out for the Lavamancer. Wonder if, will they recast Light Up the Stage? Tack, cast Light Up the Stage. Opponent not sure what they're going to do either. Oh, they're just going to go for the aggressive strategy. Yeah, we'll block one. I mean, to save ourselves 1 point of damage. Okay, so they're just going to try and kill us. This is where Lorehold Command would be nice. Gain some life, get us back into the game. Spikefield Hazard. I think I just play this as a land. It's not worth killing a 1/1 that's just going to die right away anyway. Do we just kill this Chandra? Oh, we can't. We can only deal 3 damage to something. I guess we could attack and then use Banefire on Chandra. Oof. But it does help us not die right away. So we are a red deck that's kind of splashing white, and we got paired up against a red deck that's kind of splashing white. I don't know why Arena does that to you. Like, it seems to happen more often than not. Like, it can't just be a coincidence that you get paired against decks that are similar. Their deck is much more aggressive than ours, though. And it's quite good by the looks of it. Ours has a good top end, though, if we could ever play our spells. I guess we could technically cast Embercleave next turn and hit them for 6, but... Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Is that game? Okay, Heroic Reinforcements, sure. Well, that was insane. Our opponent went nuts there. Yeah, I think we're going to take the Legion's Landing out. That kind of card also does way better in multiples. Like, if you can guarantee have it in your first couple turns, it's better. So I'm going to put the Grim Lavamancer in and switch out a Plains for a Mountain, just to have more consistent red mana. I think this Lavamancer is going to be a little bit better for us. Who knows? We'll see what happens, but that was insane. Remember that we are trying to be a fast deck to go underneath the control decks, and they just happen to pair us against a faster aggressive deck, which will happen, but there are a lot of control decks in Cube because the spells are so powerful, so hopefully we'll play against some of them, and hopefully we'll have the cards we need to beat them. Yeah, this looks good. I think I just play this as a land. I do want lands. I want land for Basri and Tribunal, so I'm going to play Sejiri's Shelter as a land. I don't have any 1-drops or anything, so... And I think we start with Remorseful Cleric, It's just more likely to be able to attack and deal damage. Right? Ooh. Well, now I think we start with Ancestral Blade. I would rather they kill this token if they're going to remove something. And then I can start playing like my Flyer or my First Striker. And I want their first removal spell to go against the Soldier. And anything I have deals 2 damage, so it's not like we're missing out on damage here. This turn I attack for 2. Ooh, Fight with Fire. So they're just going to kill whatever we play. I would rather they kill the Cleric because it doesn't look like they're a graveyard deck, and this can make 5/5s later on. So I'm going to start by attacking for 2. And then I'm going to play the Cleric. And I'm not going to equip it. I could to play around a different removal spell. It deals 1 damage. But if they're just going to kill my Flyer anyway, I would rather spread out my resources. I don't want to have to pay to equip this next turn. Like re-equip it. So I'm just going to leave it like this. Maybe they'll fall for it. Maybe they won't. Okay, they just play a creature. That's fine. This card's pretty good. Has First Strike on your turn, and you can play lands from the top of your library. It's really nice. You can't play more than 1 land a turn, but if you have lands on top of your library, it's nice. All right, here I think we play Basri. We put the counter on the Soldier and attack with everything. If they want to trade, we'll get a 2/2 out of the deal. I assume they don't trade, but... And then just go ahead and smash in. So this card okay in our deck. We don't have a ton of ways to put counters on things, but worst case scenario, this is a 4/5 Vigilance, protection from multicolored spells. When it dies, make it 2/2 for 4 mana. Like that's like as efficient as it gets, right? This card is good. I'm glad we ended up including it in the deck. And our hand is pretty good. I mean, Bane, if we get them down low enough, Banefire could just win us the game. Tribunal for anything ridiculous they do. Berserker, we can play next turn, and then if we draw a 5th land, we could start making 5/5s. I'm hoping they just use Fight with Fire here. Yeah, that's totally fine. That's a card that they went and got with Abundant Harvest, yeah. Okay, so they're making a 4/4. That's something we can play Conclave Tribunal on. And if we don't draw... Okay, we did draw a land. So what we can do is we can play Berserker and then tap 3 mana in Berserker to play Conclave Tribunal and then smash for 5. Seems pretty good to me. And then next turn, if they don't have any creatures, we can start boasting and make 5/5s. So this having Convoke is just so good. Normally in Cube, I would be worried about a sweeper around right now. I don't know if they're going to play a sweeper because they're base green, but they could definitely like play a land, deal 2 damage to everything, or 3 damage to everything. So we are worried about a sweeper, but I mean, we can't really play around a sweeper here. We're not going to play Dragonkin Berserker there, so okay. That's actually the best card we could have seen from them, because they're just going to be so slow now. And next turn we attack for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then Banefire them. It's pretty good. We also don't have to activate Boast until after combat, so it doesn't even look sketchy. We'll see how they block here. Block the 3, maybe? Either way, it's a chump block, and this gets rid of more damage, so... Nice. Banefire for 4. Like I was saying during the draft, Banefire is just so good. Like, Yeah, sometimes you use it to kill a creature, but more often than not, you just kill your opponent with this. The game goes on, and then maybe they stabilize, and you can just get them. So, really happy not to have passed Banefire. There was really good cards there. We were considering taking a Lightning Strike over Banefire, 2-mana deal 3 to anything at instant speed, but like Banefire's just so good. Welcome everybody who's just joining. We drafted a red-white deck in Arena Cube. And I was going to say it was pretty sweet, but it's hard to not draft a sweet deck in Cube because every single card is just so good. This hand's really slow, but we're going to keep it and hope to draw a mountain for an axe. Maybe we'll get to cast it this draft. But yeah, our deck is cool. Oh, we even drew a thing to do on turn 2. Yeah, and I mean, a Cube draft is it's really tough to navigate because every card is so good, but I think we did okay. I think we identified that red was mostly open, and we just took a ton of really good red cards. We actually thought we might be in mono red, and then we realized that our 5 or 6 worst red cards were way worse than our 5 or 6 best white cards. So we have pretty good mana as well with our dual land and stuff, so it was easy to go into white-red. This can deal 4 damage to anything. Yeah, that's awesome. We're just going to save it. We're not going to make a 2-1. That's silly. Just smash in here. Would like to draw a second mountain. Yeah, sure. Swift response. That's fine. Nothing. On turn 4, our turn 4 doesn't look particularly good. We'll probably just kill whatever they play with Perforce's intervention. Oh, but unless they play Behold the Multiverse. So here's one of those control decks we were talking about that we want to beat down as fast as we can, and we just happen to have a really slow draw. But yeah, totally happy to pay 2 life here to get an axe into play. And then next turn we can attack with an axe and play Embercleave on him. Whew. Oh, maybe not. No, definitely not. That's okay. This can't exile anything else. It can do nothing till they play a creature. That's fine. So I think we just play our most expensive spell. I guess we could also kill Kaya and make a 3/2 off of Lorehold Command while they're tapped out. That's probably the best. That puts them on the back foot. I was considering making a Siege Gang commander, but then Kaya's still in play. They untap with a bunch of mana, and then later we have to try and kill Kaya. So let's just do it right now. We'll make a 3/2. Even though this is an instant speed. Wait, how does this work? I gain the... There's just too many things to click with Lorehold Command. It always makes me scared. Like, am I going to actually give them the creature token? But anyway, even though this is an instant speed card, that's a situation where you probably want to play it on your turn because the opponent was tapped out and they couldn't counter it or dick around with you at all. Well, that's kind of annoying. I don't know if we have any way to get rid of the Bubble Snare. It doesn't matter that much. I'm just going to play Siege Gang Commander and then maybe Embercleave next turn. Doesn't look like they have counter spell mana up. They had to tap double blue for Bubble Snare. And then they concede. Okay, right on. That's sweet. I mean, I kind of wish they didn't concede there because it would have been nice to get to play with our sweet deck, but we'll take the win and maybe we'll get some good games against some other opponents here. That is one of the reasons why another reason why I don't necessarily prefer high-powered formats like Constructed or Modern or even Historic. This is the deck, by the way, is because you can build a sweet deck and rarely do you ever get to take it to completion because your opponent will like see that you're going to win and then just concede like they did there. And so although we get to play with all these sweet high-power cards, how many games go with your opponent just conceding, like, and then you don't get to play with them? So that's kind of why I like limited. I'm enjoying the cube, but I kind of like the low power limited, like Strixhaven or whatever, where you have junky cards and it's a lot of back and forth, and you have to try and outmaneuver your opponent without good resources, as opposed to just having awesome cards all the time. But that's my personal opinion. People are free to do whatever they want. Okay, yeah, this is a good hand for us. We're going to play this as a tapped land because I want to get to 3 and then 5 later, and I have nothing to do in turn 1. Another game where we don't have double mountain, but at least there's no Anax in our hand. Ooh, Dragon's Guard Elite is nice. Really nice in Strixhaven. Probably good in Cube too. I don't know how much Magecraft stuff there is, but let's just go ahead and play out our creature. Our creature sword thing, and I mean, if they get a counter or 2 on this, that's fine. 1 counter, a Braid gets it. 2 counters, Lava Coil gets it. So no counters, they can't attack us. Opponent with a little bit of ramp here, but I'm just gonna play Lannery Storm and attack. They can trade with Dragon's Guard Elite, but then we get rid of Dragon's Guard Elite, and we are the aggressive deck here. I wonder if our opponent is like an elf deck. I guess this isn't an elf, but this also helps us play our spells later. Yeah, that's fine. That's basically what Lannery Storm does, is she attacks once, you get a treasure, and then she dies. But hey, she always trades off, and if they can't block her, then you get a bunch of treasure tokens and can do cool stuff. Next turn, we have 5 mana. What does this do? Put 3 counters on a creature. So they're going to have a 4/4 next turn. And then if they have a creature with 4 or greater, draw 2 cards. That's not great. So whatever they put the counters on, we're going to use Lava Coil on next turn. Oh, nice. We drew Mountain. So we're saving Lava Coil for next turn to kill whatever they put the counters on. We could technically deal just a ton of damage to something. We can make a big elemental. We're definitely attacking, so let's just start with that. I don't think they're going to block here. And then I think we play Siege Gang Commander. We don't really need this treasure token for anything else, so we'll just put a bunch of bodies in play. We could start throwing goblins at them with Siege Gang Commander. It also makes it nice for blocking, like you chump block and then you throw a goblin at them for 2 damage. But we poison the cup? Yeah, sure. I mean, we still get the 1/1s even though they killed Siege Gang Commander, so not too worried about that. Oh, I didn't even see that they had foretold this card. That would have been worth mentioning. If you're like, there are call time cards in this set, so if your opponent foretells something, you can kind of guess what it is a lot of the time because there aren't that many foretell cards. There's like 1 or 2 for every color pair. So if your opponent foretells a black card, it's like probably Poison the Cup. Not that it would have changed what we did there, but something worth noting. We're definitely playing Lava Coil on the 4/4. And we're probably playing Mikaeus as a 2/2. So let's just start by attacking here. I think we are still the aggressive deck. Or do we? Yeah, I don't think we play. We don't want them to draw the 2 cards off of the games. Otherwise, I would consider just making a 4/4 Mikaeus and not killing this, but I kind of don't want them to have the extra cards, so we'll use Lava Coil here. So that they don't draw the cards, and then we'll play this as a 2/2. And if they want to kill it, that's fine. I mean, anything in green-black, they're going to be able to kill this as a 2/2, and they're going to be able to kill it as a 4/4. It would be different if we were playing against a red deck. It's like, maybe you don't run this out as a 2/2. But against a black-green deck, any card they have to kill this is just going to say, destroy target creature, exile target creature, so... Ooh, Kogla. That's a way to kill something. comes down and it fights a creature, kills anything, probably Mikaeus. I don't think there's anything we can do about that. I'll play our red mana. This can be a 5/1 with trample. That's not really that good. And I think I kind of want this to kill Kogla. They don't have a human to return, so they can't give it indestructible. And they're definitely killing this, so there's no reason to leave a counter on it. So I think we just attack with everything except Mikaeus and then put 1/1 counters on everything. Yeah, that makes sense. And I mean, if they choose not to kill Mikaeus, that's really good for us, right? So, I mean, I assume that's what they're not going to kill it 2/2, and they probably don't care about this 3/3 that much. So, and then we have intervention to kill Kogla. What? It's kind of silly, but maybe they have something else. I don't know. I don't really know what's going on there. Like, you definitely kill this, right? That was just a 1/1 counter with a token on it. Oh, a Braid is an instant? I did not know that. Okay, well, let's start by killing this. We have to tap X equals 3, which means 4 mana. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if they have some kind of pump spell, it's good. What I want to do is I want to equip Blade here, tap it to make these bigger, and then attack with them. And this won't die because it'll have +1/+1 from this. So I want to save 1 mana. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to tap 5. X equals 5, just in case they pump this bad boy up. And it's going to deal 10 damage to it. And then we're going to equip the Blade. We're going to tap this. And then we'll attack with all of our 3/3s. And that gives us 3 lethal creatures. And if they kind of stonewall us, we could just start putting counters on Mikaeus and build them back up. But okay, well, that was sweet. Yeah, deck is humming along real nice. And yeah, happy to just jam again. Welcome to everyone that's just joining the stream now. Appreciate you guys watching. And yeah, please say hi. I always like to know who's in the audience, where you're from, and if you have any comments or questions or like, Travis, why did you do that? That was stupid. Like, let me know. It's always good to chat to people. I haven't streamed in a little bit, so definitely happy to be back at it and happy to have you guys watching, guys and gals and other folk. All right, Grim Lavamancer. Definitely not as good as Legion's Landing in your opening hand. Like, this is the perfect Legion's Landing hand, but I think in general, this card is probably a bit better for us. Like, I would rather draw Grim Lavamancer on turn 6 than Legion's Landing. Although I guess if you have a good creature base, you could just flip it right away. Huh, that's a good point. I don't know. All right, opponent could be anything. And they are on the Ancestral Blade plan, kind of like us. So we'll just play a flyer and fly over them. No attacks. What do you guys think? Tank bets. I'm going to guess. Oh, I was going to say green. I was going to say white-green. Nobody's going to believe me. That was going to be my guess, though. I don't think red-white is like that popular. Not attacking. Huh. I definitely would have attacked there. But maybe they just don't want to take the extra one. I don't really know what that means. I mean, they could technically have a counter spell here too. They could have anything. They have all the mana except black, but we're just definitely playing Rampaging Ferocidon. And like, even this little bit of a life difference is going to be good. If they're green-white and they start playing a bunch of tokens... Oh. Bant? Sika's Chariot? Okay, 2 damage to you. See, that's why Ferocidon is just awesome. Like, we were 2 life ahead, and if we go 1-for-1 with creatures with them, we just end up winning, right? So we can even use Conclave Tribunal on a Chariot. Which is something we mentioned during the draft. Like, this card is so good because it can hit things like artifacts and stuff. It's just really good. I don't think we attack with Ferocidon. It's not worth killing a cat. So we just attack for 2 in the air. And if they want to try and get out of this situation, they have got to play creatures, probably creatures, or really good removal. I mean, they could kill Ferocidon, but if they want to try and go toe-to-toe with us with creatures, they're just going to be taking damage off this. They can't even gain life, and like white is obviously a life gain color, so I mean, that there's kind of a broken, like, a nombo, so a not combo with this, because we don't gain life off a Lorehold command, but 5 mana deal 3 damage to something, make a 3/2 is still really good, even if we don't gain the life, and we don't need the life. I mean, we're way ahead here, so. Also, we're not going to play Lorehold command next turn. We're definitely playing Siege Gang Commander. Although, oof, we take 4 damage. That's kind of rough, actually. We take 4 damage, but we get a whole bunch of goblins to kill them with. Huh. Or we could just play Lieutenant. Make this a 2/2, so it attacks really well. Make this a 4/4, so they have to double block it. And then we get a 2/2 back. Maybe Lieutenant's better here. Is it worth making this a 2/2? Just trades for something dumb, right? This make a 3/2? Yeah, I think I actually like that better. We'll hold the Siege Gang Commander. That can even be a card we play later in the game to finish them off. And we're just going to put the counter on Remorseful Cleric. They don't seem to have any removal to deal with it right now. They don't have anything that blocks flying. Check for reach. So we'll just keep beating them down. And if they kill Remorseful Cleric instead of Bastry, we get a 2/2. If they kill Bastry, that's fine, because that means we still have our 3/2 in play. So I'm just hoping they play a whole bunch of creatures and lose here. Oh, that's a good card. Yeah, we talked about that one in the draft. It doesn't look that good in their deck because they have a whole bunch of 2-power creatures, but I guess if they use Blade on like a cat, they can crew this. Yeah, that's fine. Now we can play Siege Gang Commander, which they'll just kill with this. Huh. And this blocks our 3/2 really well. Okay, now we're in a bit of trouble. Now we are in a bit of trouble. Benalia. Makes this better. What are they going to do? Are they going to switch Ancestral Blade to a cat, equip this, attack for 6, deal 3 damage to our Remorseful Cleric? Probably. They can't kill too many things because then Lavamancer does something good. If they attack and kill Siege Gang Commander, that's actually okay for us because then we can attack for 3. Maybe we save Lorehold Command and we kill whatever they equip to make their mana worse. I don't think we're doing that this turn. I feel like we probably just play History of Benalia, right? Can we attack with this? They have to block with 2 cats. No, that's not that good. All right, let's just let's go ahead and play History of Benalia. Get a bunch of creatures to attack with. We're not attacking with Cleric because we don't want them to block with this. What we want them to do is attack with this. They're definitely killing Remorseful Cleric, though, right? I guess the only way to take them off of that was if they killed Siege Gang Commander, but we didn't play it. So here comes the flagship. Oh, Lavamancer. That's an interesting choice. I guess in the long run that card is worse for them because it can deal damage to them, but like this could deal 2 damage to something, and Cleric is just going to hit them for 3, which I think is worse for them. Oh, okay, they're making it 4/4. That makes sense. Gotcha. Yeah, that's probably worth it. Here comes a 2/2. Rise up. What happens if we give everything indestructible? They can't really block this. They take 4. They chump. I don't think they really want to chump. They chump that. There. Or these bounce and they have to chump something and take 4. We can deal 3 damage to the 2/2. Should we just attack with everything and hold up Lorehold Command and see how they block? Probably. This has vigilance, this has vigilance. Yeah, why not? They can't even block this here because it is multicolored. So I think we just do this. We could probably die next turn. But I think this is worth it for us. And we still have these as vigilance blockers, so that's kind of nice. Okay. So we're definitely playing this. We're definitely giving +1/+0 and indestructible. Do we want to deal... What do we want to deal 3 damage to? The cat? Then they have to tap both of these if they want to crew that. Yeah. I want to do this. Oh, and we actually gain the life because our thing is gone. Creatures you control. That's done. 3 damage to any target. Cat. I gain life. Oh, no! Oh, we should have seen that coming. I wish we had saw it coming. Wasn't I just talking about how when your opponent plays a foretell card, you should try and think about what it is? I kind of forgot about the Paradise Druid. I just saw this Ketria Triumph and I was like, oh, they have 1 mana up. But yeah, we could have seen that one coming. That's for sure. Definitely should have saw that coming. That's okay, though. We still have blockers. And if we draw land, we can deal 2 damage with Siege Gang Commander. I don't know if that's going to be enough. Our knights do get bigger next turn, so they kind of have to kill it 2/2 with Flagship. I mean, they can't kill Basri anyway, so yeah, that's a good play. That's what we thought they were going to do. Man, we got wrecked by a Saw It Coming. I should have seen that one coming. Yeah, that makes sense. 10 to us. Two, 1. Yeah, sure. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know if we could have played any different. Like, I guess if we hadn't have attacked there, it would have been okay. Now we just desperation attack as far as the opponent is concerned. We need to get them down to 2. But we definitely lose this game now because they're just going to hit us for 6 in the air. The only way we don't lose is if they let Basri through, but there's no way you do that. Like, they have all the resources they could possibly need here, so... We were probably supposed to throw a goblin at like this 2/2 last turn, so that they had to tap both of those for that, and then they still get us. So yeah, no, that was good. Definitely should have paid attention to the foretell card there. Wasn't even really thinking about it. But this is what I mean. Like we knew we were dead, but now our opponent gets to play with like their sweet cards they drafted. So I'm just gonna let them like kill me, right? I could have conceded there, but and I usually do if it's gonna be a while. But this was obviously just like one more turn till they won, so might as well give them the chance to use their cool cards. All right, well, we're just going to run it back. I like how the deck is built right now. I just want to show it to people that are just showing up for the stream. So pretty sweet white-red deck. Lots of good removal. Decent value cards like Lorehold Command, History of Benalia. Yeah, all kinds of good stuff. And we'll see what we can do here. See if we can get to 4 wins. That was a good last game. Opponent with the counter spell. After I had just talked about the foretell cards. Oh, we'll try not to make that mistake again. But again, like I was saying, I don't really know what they were definitely countering whatever we played, but we attacked first to try and get them. And what we could have done was play Lorehold Command in our main phase before we attacked. And that way we kind of play around a counter spell because they'll counter it, but then we don't attack with everything and lose all of our resources. So that was a bit of a choice. It was a choice. We chose to play that way and it didn't really work out, but attack for 1. Play a cleric. 2-mana 2/1 flying is pretty sweet. Like it's just such a threat early on. I mean, not against white-red. They're gonna have tons of removal, but it's just so good early on. Here we're gonna play Needle Leverage Pathway, the red side, because we have so many double red cards. We only have actually, forget what I just said. I'm gonna play Warsinger this turn. I'm gonna start by attacking though. Just see what they come up with. They might have Seal Away here, which is totally fine. But I'm just gonna play my aggressive cards and see what happens. I was gonna play the red side of this because we have like Anax and Embercleave and stuff, but because we drew them out and we didn't have to. And now I'll play it as the white side because we have like History of Benalia. Okay, Castle. Wonder if they're a more controlling deck. Ooh. It's a good boy. I think we just smash first, see what they do. Sigrid. Flash, first strike, protection from gods, exile an attacking or blocking creature. Huh. Maybe we should have played Ferocidon first so that they took 1 damage there. Yeah, this is fine. And they get to eat the 1/1. That's sad. Should have played the Ferocidon first. I don't think it's right to play the Ferocidon first there, but okay, I screwed up because I want to leave this up. But I'm not going to play my white mana. Unless we just play this as a tap land here to make Mikaeus bigger. Play this as a 4/4, which gets him away from some of the removal, not all of it. Huh. Is it worth keeping this to get rid of a token? Probably. I definitely should have played this first and then left a mountain up for Spikefield Hazard, but I'm not gonna like screw up twice in a row and play this as a mountain just to have this in play. Yeah, that's fine. Two damage to us. And then we're just gonna play a big Mikey and see what happens. I mean, that's really all we can do. Weaponize the monster, eh? Well, maybe it would have been better to play this last turn then. With the Embercleave, is it worth playing? Like, this is going to be a 3-3. Is it worth playing this so that we can play that next turn? Probably. Well, we'll see what we can do here. I think we're pretty far behind. They don't really have anything they want to sacrifice. Like, this is kind of a weird deck, but I guess if they start making 1/1s, they can deal 2 damage a turn, but it costs them 6-7 mana a turn to do this, so they kind of deal 2 damage every other turn. Huh. Well, let's see if we can cast our Embercleave and win off the back of this broken card. This isn't a god, is it? No. That'd be awful. What does this one do? Oh, joke's on you. We don't have any instants or sorceries. No! No! Don't do it! Oh, Mikey. Well, if we had played the Spikefield Cave a turn earlier, it still wouldn't have saved Big Mikey, so... here we can play Tribunal to get Remorseful Cleric back. And then they can't make a token and yeah, that's fine. I guess we could get the 3/3 back. Is that better? Probably not. This way it's a 2-for-1. Like, we get rid of this and we get a creature. Whereas if we got rid of Banishing Light, we only get a creature back. And it's not like they're at super low life. And I mean, if they kill this, they usually can't do that at instant speed, so they can't get the extra attacking or blocking trigger here. Destroy an artifact. Neither of these are artifacts. Well, I think we just go for the Embercleave here. It's kind of the best thing we can do, right? The problem with this only having 1 toughness is that they can kill it with Weaponize the Monster, but we're not going to worry about that right now. Oh, they can't even make a dude. They don't have enough white mana. Oh, that's awesome. Okay. That's good, because otherwise they could make a 1/1 and kill it, but now they can do both in the same turn. Yeah, that's a bit sad, hey. Well, we'll just do this and exile their graveyard. I don't think it's going to matter, but... Now we need a creature to Embercleave. If they play an artifact, oh man. But I think we're going to have a hard time winning now because they're just going to make a bunch of 1/1s and they're going to be able to deal as much damage as they want to. Shelter's nice, actually, against that, so we'll just hope to draw a creature here, protect it with Shelter. We can use a Braid to kill one of their things, I guess. They can technically deal 2 damage to us a turn, but I don't think we're that much of a threat. I assume they play nothing and just make a bunch of 1/1s, right? That's probably their best bet. Yes! That's the combo. In that an axe is big and all those red mana symbols. So beefy. It is a little bit of a tell that I'm not going to equip the thing right away, but... Maybe I don't want to auto pass. So if I kill their thing... Yeah, I can't do both. Oh, man. But we're going to get a whole bunch of 1/1s to put the cleave on, so that's kind of nice. If they try and do it right now, that's good for us. Oh, awesome. Weaponize the monsters, deals 2 damage to any target. Resolve. Because I want them to use the other one now. And then we'll give it protection from red. Weaponize the monster, deals 2 damage to any target. Weaponize the monster is a red card. Target creature we control gains protection from red. Takes no damage. Now they can't kill it. Unless they draw Lava Coil. Oh, and Lava Coil, oh man. Man, some people have all the luck, right? Some people have all the luck. Exiles it, we don't get the 1/1s from it. Boo. We can deal 5 damage to something. That doesn't really matter. Some people have all the luck. Magic Mageddon. Yeah, I think we're going to have a tough time winning this game. Oh, man. An axe plus shelter was just so good there. But, I mean, I don't think they top deck Lava Coil. I assume they just had it in hand, which makes me feel a little bit better. Like, if we had that sweet turn and then they top decked it, that would have been just gross. But I assume they had it in hand. We'll just assume they had it in hand. Yeah, well, I mean, if I can draw 14 lands before they kill me, it doesn't seem likely. Maybe Ferocidon was better. Nah, dealing 1 damage a turn didn't seem that much better, hey? Of course. Of course. I feel like we just play a Braid here, right? Is there anything in our deck that can save us? Maybe Obosh plus Banefire? If we ever get it? I think Obosh plus Banefire could be good. Where are all of our creatures too, hey? Like, we've only drawn 4, 5, 6. Okay. Well. Bombat. Bombat Courier. Okay. Okay, opponent. Okay, we get it. We get it. We get it. Wow. Well, I mean, that was obviously a beating. If they didn't have the Lava Coil, I think would have been okay. If they didn't have the 1 card that could kill us, we could have equipped an axe, dealt a whole bunch of damage to them, and then Banefired them. So 3-3, not awful for Cube. The decks are just so powerful, right? So anyway, thanks to everybody for tuning in and watching. This is our deck as we ended up having it. Trying to play kind of a semi-aggressive, high-powered red-white deck. I don't think this is like a particularly good deck in this cube. I assume you want to be either very, very aggressive in mono red, or you want to be very, very aggressive mono white. I don't think this archetype is like particularly well suited to this format, but that's what we ended up with. And sometimes you just draft what you can. So anyway, this has been the Daily Travesty. I appreciate you guys coming out, and I hope you have an awesome day.